In five, four, three.
Welcome to episode 8 of the Vinyl Union. Hi, John.
Hello.
We have been notably absent for what, 2, 3 weeks now? I
It's been
can't
a
remember.
while.
It's been a while, so apologies from us to you, the listener, who's been chomping at the bit, basically, to listen to us talk about music. So
Yeah,
sorry about that, but we've had a very busy few weeks, lots of things going on. So that is why we have been absent, isn't it?
it is.
But yeah.
Yes, lots of fan mail and death
Mm.
threats and all sorts. It's been quite horrific.
There's
It,
been a mixed cacophony of people like contacting us and yeah,
uh,
etc. etc. Yeah, you can edit that bit
but
out.
and we'll say to all our fans, like we said to the King, I'm sorry you wanted episode 8 last week, but we've just been busy and there's lots going on. And as we said
Mm.
from day one, we're doing this, for our own fun and adventure. So everyone, including the King, is just going to have to wait. But we're back.
Sorry.
Here we are with episode 8. Um, and we've gone modern. We've gone relevant and
We're relevant now.
we are relevant. There's going to be kids watching this saying, "Who's these two middle-aged people talking about modern things?" I'm officially middle-aged now,
Exactly.
at 45. I think I can call myself middle-aged.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
you can. Yeah. I was
yeah.
middle-aged a long time ago.
We won't mention that. You carry it off better than I do.
Thanks.
That's all
That
right.
makes me feel a little bit better.
So yeah, so what have we been up to? You started a new job, haven't you?
Yes, I'm 3 weeks in as of today in my new job, so that's been keeping me busy. Another one of the reasons why we haven't been around, because I've had to devote all my time and energy to learning new things. So
Mm.
yeah, what
And
else have we done?
I've just been lazy, really. I think that's my
I
excuse.
don't think you've been lazy. You work very hard, don't you?
Well, yeah,
Really,
well,
you do.
I like to think I do. Some people may
Yeah.
disagree, but I think I do. I feel like I'm actually having to work for a living these days, which is pretty horrific. I'm not
I
used to it,
know.
but yeah.
That's
Um,
yeah.
we say hello to Matthew every week, and this week I think it's an even bigger hello and massive well done for this week. He'll know what I'm talking about. Um,
Yes.
but yeah, he's done an exceptional work this week. If you don't know, I work with Matthew, um, and yeah, what he does for our business is he's taken quite a leap forward this week, and I'm never going to hear the end of it. So, but I'll let him bask in the glory that is his, and say to him, "Well done." Um, yeah,
Well done,
hello,
Matthew.
well done, Matthew. Hello to Mel as well.
Yeah. Hi,
Our two
Mel.
loyalist listeners. They're not
Hmm.
loyalists, unless they are. I don't know. Are they loyalists?
I
They'll
don't
have to.
think
They'll have to
so.
answer that. I don't know what their political standings are, but if you're loyalists, then congratulations. If you're
If
not,
you're
I'm
not.
sorry. But moving on. So yeah, we apologise for the delay, but we're back. We're here, and would you like to tell everyone what album
Yeah.
we are doing this week?
We are doing one of my favorite albums that was released in 2024, and we actually saw them live a week this last Wednesday. And
Yeah.
they are called, and I have the vinyl here, because we're going to start showing it with we own it. To be honest, we own most of the stuff that we're going to be doing. This is English Teacher, and it is called This Could Be Texas. Look
Mm.
at it. I'm trying to not get the light to that's better to shine
Yeah,
on it.
it's a great album cover.
So yes.
It was an exceptional concert. up in
It
Bristol
was
last week.
amazing. So yeah, that is what we are going to be reviewing. It's their debut album. They're
Hmm.
from Leeds, which is
Yeah.
a city that I know very well. And it's probably one of the best debut albums from that I've heard in the last maybe 10 or 15, maybe even 20 years. I don't know. But
Well, we
yeah,
we
it's
we were talking about this on the way home from the concert, were we? And it's I know it's quite a statement for to make, and and I've tried to rack my brains for any other band that I could maybe associate this sentence to, but I genuinely think they are the best British band since Radiohead. And I
mm,
know that's a bold statement, but
yeah.
given this album is I'm really struggling to think of a better British album since Kid A or Amnesiac than
Hmm.
This Could Be Texas. It genuinely is that good. And I said a couple of weeks ago, it's quite, maybe deemed narrow-minded of me, but with new music, as everyone knows me, and Leanne, I hold
Hmm.
on to what I love, and most of my music is sort of pre 2000, really,
Mm.
give or take a couple of
Yeah,
bands. So anything new really needs to impress me straight off the bat, and these guys have done it. They won the Mercury Music Award in 2024. What was a prestigious title at that time before they started handing it out to tribute bands. But it was, yeah, a much deserved winner of the Mercury in 2024. And I
definitely.
and I really do encourage you all to listen to it if you haven't already. If you
Hmm.
know the album, you're in for a treat. And so, yeah,
We do
that's
it?
it. Shall we do it? So,
Let's do
okay,
it.
so this album has got, I believe, 13 tracks on it. It is just over 50 minutes long. And we are going to start right now with track one, which is called Albatross. Okay, that was track one from the album This Could Be Texas by the band English Teacher. Okay, shall I go? Shall I start
Yeah,
this one
go
off?
for it. Yeah.
Okay. Um, so yeah, a very very strong start to the album, if you ask me. There was a point in the song when I first listened to this track where she started singing cursively, that style of vocal that really, really
Yes.
pisses me
Yeah.
off. It
Yeah.
seems to have infected all modern singers, male and female.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
that real sort of lazy, drawling nonsense that I don't know. It just seems to be really prevalent in modern
Mhm.
day singing. They think it sounds great and edgy, and it just sounds shit. Um, and 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 for the first sort of few bars of this song, she started doing it, and I was like, oh God, please don't. And then thankfully she snaps out of it, and I don't think
Yeah.
we hear it very often then throughout
No.
for the out the through the rest of the album, thank God. So but yeah, um a really strong start. And what's clear about this band is I don't know how old they are, but they got to be
Uh,
early 20s, I would have thought. Then
yeah.
they're no older than my kids. Um, and I don't mean this to sound patronizing to them. It's such a mature sound, lyrically, musically. These kids are, making music that is way beyond their years, um,
Mm.
and this is their debut album. And I know because of how good this album is, there's going to be a whole heap of pressure on them for
Mm.
album two. And that's obviously will when we'll see, you know, what they're what the cut of their jib. We'll see what they're made of with album two. But if it's anything like this album, then they're going to be huge.
They're going to be
Yeah,
big,
a
big,
really
big, big.
strong,
Mm.
mature sounding start to the album. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a nine from me.
What did you
I
score it a one on?
I scored it a one on the hook. Uh,
Same as me.
and I'll discuss that. I'm not going to talk about the whole album after one track, so I'll go on.
Mm.
I'll go on to
That's fair.
why a bit later on because it comes a
Yeah.
little bit more evident as the album
Hmm.
progresses. But yeah, everything else just absolutely bang on. Really
Yeah.
good, solid start. So yeah, 9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah. So I scored it exactly the same as you. I gave it a one for the hook because it's quite a subtle song.
Mm,
But there's also for me a juxtaposition between the subtleness of her voice and her singing with
mm,
the sort of the bombasticness of the instruments in the background,
mm,
especially like the drums and the cymbals, um, which I think is beautiful. I think it works really, really well. So I gave it one for the hook and two for everything else. But as usual with me, lyrics pull you in, and there are lyrics in it that just make me smile. I'm not sure they're supposed to make me smile when I tell you what they are, but in verse two, she sings, I gave my mum a heart attack, left the windowsill for a cul-de-sac. I stared at the sun and she stared right back, and I just think that's beautiful. I love it. I just think lyrically, as a lyricist, and I don't know whether the whole band wrote the lyrics or whether it was just the lead singer who's called Lily Fontaine who did it, but I just think it's beautiful. So it's a nine from me, and I think
mm.
yeah, it's a really a strong start to the album.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll talk more about her lyrical delivery later on, but yeah, absolutely. I
Hmm.
in complete agreement there. Okay, so moving on to track two, which is uniquely titled The World's Biggest Paving Slab.
So that was track two, called The World's Biggest Paving Slab. And what a cracking name for a song, what a unique name for a song. You won't be surprised to know that this is one of my favorites on the album. I absolutely adore this, and I'm pretty sure that when I was still up north and I had my playlist on Spotify, I had this one on, and I think that John heard it quite a lot. So
Yeah.
it's an absolute banger. Absolutely adore this song. I've given it a 10, which you could probably guess. It still comes up regularly on my list, and I never get bored of singing along to this. It's just a wonderful song, and lyrically, I love it. I just think the lyrics are great. I mean, there's a part in it where she mentions John Sim. So, and it's just the way, I'm the world's biggest paving slab, so you can walk all over me, or I'm the biggest celebrity. And I just think it's very clever the way that they've done it. And there's a real hook there with the
Mm,
guitar as well.
yeah.
And I just think, I mean, this, I think, I'm not entirely sure, but I think that this was the single of the album. I don't know whether it was the first single or not, because it doesn't actually tell me when I've looked up and researched it. But yeah, it was everywhere. I think I first heard it on Six Music, and that's what got me into them because they were playing them a lot around the time. But a song about a paving slab, I don't think there is another one that exists unless I can be proved wrong. So it's a 10 from me. What about you, John?
Adele had that track called Chasing Pavements, didn't she?
Oh, did she? Was that Adele?
It was Adele.
Jason?
Yeah.
Was it?
Chasing Pavements, I think, something like that.
Something like that, wasn't it? I think, yeah. But yeah, not about a paving slab. So,
No, it's I love tracks that start with a bass guitar and one,
Mm.
especially as punchy as that one. It's a great
Yeah.
sounding. Again, a really strong musical uh, production and just really confident. It just oozes confidence in musically
Mm.
and lyrically. It's just brilliant. And again, you know me, I love my prog rock, and I'm getting some really great sort of introductions to prog in this music. Whether or not they were sort of exposed to that sort of music, I'm definitely sort of hearing King Crimson as I listen to it, and
Mm.
which is great. It's got that sort of Robert Fripp attack guitar going on, and yeah, I absolutely adored it. I scored it a 10 out of 10 as well.
Mm.
What a track.
Mm.
But definitely my song of last year. Best
Mm.
song of last year, definitely.
Mm.
Yeah, and easily the best album of 2024 for me. Uh yeah. Uh, Superb. Yeah, 10 out of 10
Mhm.
for me. Maximum scores
Cool.
all round.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. Off we go to track 3, which is called Broken Biscuits.
Broken English, broken home, broken biscuits, broken phone.
Okay, that was track 3 called Broken Biscuits. Do you remember getting bags of broken biscuits as a kid?
I do, because in Manchester we live near a factory called Park. Well, it's called Park Cakes, but they have a factory shop and they used to sell broken biscuits. I'm pretty sure they did.
I'm
Anyway,
I'm
but
I'm pre I'm,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure you can still get broken biscuits.
I
I
think you probably
reckon
can.
I reckon you
Hmm.
can buy actually branded broken biscuits. If anyone
Hmm.
could let us know in the comments whether or not broken biscuits are still a thing, that'd be great.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, who would have thought that life could be summarized by comparing it to broken biscuits?
Who knew,
Really?
right?
Who knew?
Yeah.
Um, she has a real honesty, doesn't she, in her deliverance of her delivering
Yes.
of her lyrics. There's a real realness and
It's
honesty
a
to,
raw honesty, isn't it?
yeah, to how
There's something
she,
about it.
yeah, and how she gets them across. It's mesmerizing, and she's
Mm.
mesmerizing, without,
Yes.
you know um watching them last week.
Mm.
I've never been transfixed to a band in the way that I was to them,
Mm.
and not just because of their age. Obviously, that's got a lot to play with, plays its part because, you
Mm.
know, we watch these. Yeah, I'm in danger of sounding like an old sod, but watching these youngsters
Mhm.
play music in the way that they do, uh, every individual part of that band are so on point. And you refer to, you use these sort of words for bands that have been playing together for decades. You watch
Mm.
bands that have been playing for a long time together on stage, and they're all in their own little bubble, and they're at the top of their game. Um, and they create this perfection of sound. And these kids are doing it in their early 20s, and
Mm.
it's impressive. It's sickening. You know. Um, can you see my guitar moving on its own?
Yes, it looks like you've got a
Yeah.
ghost in there that's moving the guitar. I'm guessing it's a dog.
Yeah, I haven't got a ghost. I've got a pain in the ass Springer Spaniel, um, who's chasing reflections. So yeah, apologies. But
Wobbling.
yeah, again, lots of prog rock influences, swinging through this. But
Mm.
again, with a modern twist, I'm genuinely in love with this band and this
Mm.
album. Um,
Two. Mm.
a- Again, I've scored it a 1 on the hook
Mhm.
and a 1 on the intro. Um, but the track for me still scores an 8. I
Hmm.
think it's really hard, and I've I've compared them to prog rock bands already, and bands like King Crimson, musically brilliant, lyrically brilliant, so much going on there. But it's
Mm.
really hard at times when you're playing that sort of progressive experimental music to be catchy at the same time. And whilst they do pull it off on this album, there is a lot of times where the catchiness is missing because of that, because it's, you're going from one beat speed to another and then going off to a different style. It's really hard to kind of get it all into like a cohesive hit. It's There's nothing wrong with that, and it's slightly unfair that I guess we're scoring it based in the way that we do, because the album will ultimately suffer for it, or the overall score will suffer for it. The album definitely doesn't suffer for it because it's brilliant. But with this scoring system, it does leave it sort of slightly lagging at times because of that, which is a real shame. And it's not an issue if you're not listening, if you're not wanting to hear catchy music all the time. Um,
Mm.
yeah, I'm waffling. Over to
It's
you.
all right because, well, I actually disagree with you. Sorry.
Oh,
Disagree with you. I think that's a really catchy song. I think
okay,
I've given it a 10. I think it has got a hook. I think
okay.
I agree there are shifts in the music and there are shifts in when she's sort of talking as opposed to singing, but then singing or changing her tone. But I still think it cohesively is catchy. I don't think that song suffers for it. But I get where you're coming from, but I disagree with you, babe. Sorry. I think that's really catchy.
Oh, we disagreed.
So yeah, I think it's still got. I mean, if you listen to it again, the repeat of the broken biscuits, as you follow the lyrics through, because I always read the lyrics when we do this and we review stuff, but there is a pattern.
Hmm.
I work with data. I look for patterns and things all the time, and I think it's really catchy. So I'm sorry, I disagree with you on that one.
Don't
And
apologize.
I know you still love it because you've given it an 8. But in terms of you talking about the hook, in particular on this song, I could probably agree with you on maybe a couple of the other songs, but I still think that it can be catchy and be unpredictable.
Look, I totally, respect your decision. This is the first time we've disagreed on something that's not a fridge or a holiday destination. So, yeah.
Okay. I was waiting for the fridge to come up. Right, okay. Anyway, that's not for our listening public. Let's move on.
Okay,
On
we're
that
moving
note.
on. We're moving on to track 4, which is called I'm Not Crying, You're Crying.
I'm not high, I'm not near, I'm not here, I'm not there, I'm not sorry, I'm not out, I'm not loud, I'm not holy, I'm not lonely, I'm not steady, I'm not ready, I'm not her, I'm not near, I'm not here, I'm not there, I'm not sorry, I'm not out, I'm not out.
That was track 4, and that was called I'm Not Crying, You're Crying. Um, I'll be brutally honest with you. This is probably my least favorite track on the album. But even though it's my least favorite track, I still scored it quite high because I st I still like it as a complete package that I feel like this belongs in the album. But I've scored it an 8. I'm not a massive fan of the jump into the intro, so I've given that a 1. And lyrically, it's very repetitive, and
Mm.
sometimes repetitive works, other times it doesn't. And for me on this, it doesn't. There are little breaks where she breaks from the I'm not crying, you're crying, which I kind of like the tonal shift. So, but I mean, I've given it like a 2 for the hook because it has got a hook, but it's very repetitive. So it's my least favorite song on the album, but it's still a strong eight. So,
Yeah.
what do you think?
I completely agree with you. I think it's the weakest track on the
Okay.
album.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
Um, I've scored it a seven.
Okay. Okay.
Um, I scored it a two on the wow and the musicianship and
Mm.
ones for everything else.
Yeah.
But it's still a good track. It's still a guitar nearly went then. Um,
Oh no.
it's still a really good track.
Mm.
But yeah, it's a seven for me. It is repetitive. It does get slightly annoying. Um,
Hmm.
but at the same time, I do love how they've managed to get a really contemporary sort of catchphrase,
Yeah.
because it's used quite a lot, isn't it?
Mm.
I'm not crying, you're crying, when
Yeah.
people are watching sad reels on TikTok or Instagram. And yeah, but yeah, no, it's clever. It's a clever use of the lyric, but yeah,
Yeah.
musically, not their strongest, but a seven and an eight
Mm.
is still a pretty damn good score. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so shall we move on to track five,
Hmm.
which is called Mastermind Specialism? Was track five, Mastermind Specialism. Mastermind Specialism. Jesus, that's hard to say.
Wow, you struggled a little bit there, didn't
I
you?
did, didn't I?
Oh.
Well, if their mastermind specialist subject was writing damn good songs, then I think they would do pretty well. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful track. Really lovely melodic blend of acoustic guitar and those misty, misty sort of vocal styles. Yeah, and they're showing different tools in their toolbox here. They're showing a softer side to them. Yeah, I'm still can't get my head around the fact this is a debut album. I really struggle with it, and I am genuinely running out of superlatives for them. But yeah, a beautiful, beautiful track. I've scored it a 9 out of 10.
Hmm.
I, I scored it a one for the hook. Um, but yeah, maxed out across the board on everything else. Yeah, sorry, this dog is really there's reflections going on everywhere.
He's he's on one
He's
tonight, isn't he?
he's
I've
definitely on
noticed.
one. Yeah, he
Yeah,
definitely is
he's
tonight.
mm.
I
Oh
think he's
well.
had his Weetabix. I blame Rachel at work today for giving him a ton of treats. So
Is
yeah,
that too much? Yeah.
he has. But
Bouncing
yeah,
off the walls.
back to the album. Yeah, that
Hmm.
track's a nine for me. Just
Yeah.
stunning, beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful,
Hmm.
stunning song. Yeah, you?
Well, I would have to agree with you. That's another favorite of mine, and I gave it a 10. I just think it's a wonderful song. Again, with a wonderful title. I mean, I don't think there's ever been a song written about a mastermind specialism. Um, but the lyrically, again, just it's just cracking. I mean, the I love the bit where she starts singing Tinker Tailor Soldier
Mm,
Spy. I think that's beautiful. And then starts talking about Nosferatu and Tarrant's teeth in the same sentence. I mean, you
mm,
can't, but it really, really works. And you can't, everything just works together and lyrically, it just, wow. I just think that's a great song. I just think it's very
mm.
clever as well.
And it's
Um,
really it's really delicate at times, and
yeah.
for a band to go from a track like World's Biggest Paving Slab with some really
Mm,
sort of heavy,
yeah.
like I keep saying, prog guitar influence to something that delicate. It's for it's those are the reasons why I keep comparing them to Radiohead and
Hmm.
Not comparing them as such to Radiohead musically, but in that bracket for just
Talented, just naturally talented. It just comes so
absolutely.
easy and it doesn't seem to be something hard for them to do. So I agree with you on that. I think they're just superb. And my other question would be, what would be your mastermind specialism?
Oh, why don't
Just
you
want to throw that one out there. No, because sometimes the answers that, come straight to mind are often the funniest or, more interesting. I know what mine would be. It's really geeky and sad.
what would yours be?
Take a wild guess.
Alien franchise?
That'd be, yeah, actually, that could be a good second. Yeah, so that would be one of them, but my other
If you
one would
if
be
you're gonna
Excel
say,
spreadsheet.
oh my God, are you for real? That would be your mastermind specialist subject.
No, it was a toss-up between the alien universe, or
Don't try
basically
and
aliens or aliens.
don't
But
try and
yeah,
claw it back with something cool from saying that your specialist subject would be Microsoft Excel. My God. Mine would be either
oh, go on.
Antarctic exploration,
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
The
Oh,
Godfather,
The Godfather. Yeah.
Friends, the TV
Really?
series. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you do know a lot
Um,
about that, don't you? I have noticed.
or I'd go for sort of like the late 60s, early 70s, the Laurel Canyon music scene of that
Mm,
time. Yeah, that
okay.
would, yeah. So it'd be a toss
Yeah.
up of one of those.
Okay. See, I thought that was a good question. It was, related to the album
Yeah,
or the song.
with some really good answers apart from yours.
Oh,
Excel spreadsheets.
what?
Right, folks. Let's get interactive in the comments if you've got this far. If you didn't switch off about 2 minutes ago, what would your
Really?
um what would your um mastermind speciality subjects be if you were
Yeah.
in that hot chair or hot seat? What do they call it? The mastermind chair.
Yeah, just the chair in it. I mean, I don't think it's got a
Yeah.
special name. I don't actually know. I've not watched it for years. My parents still watch it, I
Okay.
believe. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Well, what
Yeah.
would your specialist subjects be then, folks?
Mm.
Write on
Okay.
a stamped address envelope to PO Box.
Somerset.
Remember when TV shows had PO boxes?
Yeah, because you remember you used to have to write in to Blue Peter on a
Yeah.
postcard.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
BBC were that tight. You had to
Mm.
write it on a stamped address envelope. You had to
Yes.
pay for them to send it back.
Yes.
Unbelievable. The
Yeah.
BBC are scumbags. They
Oh
always have
dear.
been, and they always will be. Because of
Topical.
that, because of that, not because of all the stuff that's going on at the minute, purely because
Mm.
of the stamped
Of
address
that.
envelope. Yeah.
Yeah. There.
Ha-
I'm pretty sure they did that on Why Don't You as well. Do you remember that program?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did it on that as well, and various other programs that are around the Blue Peter era.
Mm, yeah.
Mm.
Okay, moving on.
Mm.
We're going on to track 6, which is the title track of the album called This Could Be Texas.
It's the year of the ox. Dress me up and try to guess my weight. 800 people gathered at a fair. In the machine age.
So, um, that was the title track of the album, which I've forgotten the number of the track. It's track 6. This could be Texas. Gosh, don't know where I'm up to. So I'm going to kick this one off. And this is I love the way that this song tonally shifts about, and I love the I can't even say it, musicality of it, and I just love the way that it sort of shifts and wanes, and again, there's a bit of spoken word in it, and there's a kind of subtlety to it. I've scored it an eight because I don't think the intro is as strong as some of the songs on the album, and also I don't think it has really a massively strong hook throughout. But I've given it a two for everything else. Um, and it's a strong album as we've already discussed. And I do wonder, and I have wondered this, and I don't know what your take is what is the meaning behind this could be Texas? I'm not entirely sure whether that's like a literal thing or if they have some ties to Texas, in America. But that's always kind of been a bit of a mystery. So maybe I'll have to do some more research on that one specifically. But yeah, still a strong song, but it's an eight from me. What about you?
I've given it maximum. I've given it a 10.
Ah, okay. Fair.
I just love the you've already alluded to it, the changes in speeds and
Mm,
styles, um the subtlety of it going into more complex pieces of music as it goes on. The song pretty much you think comes to an end, with
mm,
a minute or so left to go, and it goes into almost a completely different song almost. But it's so complex and it's so clever. I think it's got a hook with that piano sort of riff. Da, 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 da.
yeah.
It like
Yeah,
builds
I get
throughout the
that. Yeah.
song, and
Yeah.
for me, that keeps me completely engaged.
Mm,
I just think it's just another wonderful track. I'm running out of words, um,
mm,
for each brilliant track that we're that
mm,
we're scoring. And funny enough, and I was listening to this and thinking back to the concert, and again commenting on the fact that they're a young band. It really reminds me of, not wanting to harp on about the good old days or my youth,
mm,
but I remember sort of chasing my dream, as a musician with my band, around that age, and everyone used to tell us, it's all about luck. You've got to be in the
mm,
right place at the right time, and it's all
mm,
about luck. And I kind of believed that for a long time. I always believed that we were good enough, we just weren't lucky enough. And it's not until you sit back and listen to bands like English Teacher and a few others that are doing the
mm.
rounds these days, and you think that's bollocks. If you're good enough, if you're that good, you will be found. If you're that good,
Mm,
people will hear you. And this band is proof to that. I'm sure they got lucky at certain elements in their career so far, but they're basically at the top of their game because they are good and they are great, and they
mm,
deserve to be at the top of their game. Um, so yeah, you're looking back, we never stood a chance. We weren't lucky
oh,
enough and we weren't good enough. This is the standard. This band sets the standard for British bands to follow. That's how
mm,
good they are. That's how highly regarded I think they are. And I really hope for their sake that they can continue it with,
yeah.
at least another two or three albums of this standard to really elevate them into the echelons of great British artists, because they absolutely deserve to be there. They are
Mm,
that good that
mm,
this
yeah.
band needs a strong catalogue of
Mm,
albums like this, because it would
mm,
be a travesty if they didn't follow it up and then were just sort of, do you remember that band? They had really one great album. We didn't really hear much from them again. And
mm,
we can label that at certain bands that have come up, and yeah, they've started off really well and then they've just slowly sort of petered out over
mm.
time.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but enough of my waxing lyrical about them. I swear I'm
No,
not
I think you've
sponsored
got
by
a
English
point.
Teacher.
No, well, you knew how much I harped on about them before you even
Mm.
knew about them. I was raving about them, wasn't I? After
But
I'd seen them.
that piano do 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 do.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like listening to
wonderful.
Genesis and Pink Floyd, yeah, and King Crimson and Jethro Tull. It's got that. It's just oh yeah,
It's great. It is
yeah.
great, and I think, and I hope, and I touch some wood when I say this, but I think that the next stuff could be really good because they played three or four new songs when we saw them,
Mm.
and I was impressed with what I heard. And bless her, Lily, the lead singer, when she said, did you hear her say that when she was singing that first new song, she was like, "This is only the second time I played it live, and I was shaking last time, and it's just the innocence."
Yeah.
There's no arrogance
There's none.
about them.
No.
She was petrified of playing a new song for a big audience, and that just shows some humility and some, just it shows the quality of the people as
Yeah.
well.
And
You
it's,
know?
I've said it already, they ooze confidence, but no arrogance.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe that will come later because with fame, with success
It
comes
changes you. Yeah.
arrogance. Of course it does.
Maybe.
And, there's not many musicians out there
Mm.
that aren't arrogant to a certain degree. So,
Mm.
they're
Yeah.
not going to be immune from that. But at this stage, to
Yeah.
produce music this confident and to portray that sort of confidence on stage and not let it come across in your personality as arrogant, man,
Mm.
bravo, fair play to them.
Yeah. True.
Okay, so should we go next track,
Yeah.
which is track 7, and it's called "Not Everybody Gets to Go to Space."
Not everybody gets to go to space, and that's okay. Not everybody gets a time to shine. Because if everybody got to go to space, all of its bars.
Okay, that was track 7. Not everybody gets to go to space, which is a shame, I feel, because I think, unless you're scared of heights and flying and
Mm.
having no gravity or got an aversion to
Yeah.
eating like liquid food,
And the
um,
possibility of aliens arriving at any moment,
I think it's
maybe.
probably safer to be in space with the aliens than it is to be down here on Earth.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think.
you might be right,
Yeah.
actually, to be fair, the way things are going. Funny.
Okay, so yeah, and I'm getting bored. I'm getting bored of my
You're
own
getting
voice,
bored.
to be honest. Yeah, a really great track. I've scored it a 9. Scored it a 1 on the hook.
Ooh,
But again, it's a great blend of different styles, with some experimentation again going on.
yes.
It's incredibly clever, as all of their stuff is. Um, it's an incredibly clever album by some incredibly clever people.
Mm.
And I don't know. I genuinely don't know what else to say.
Okay,
You go. You
I'll
go.
go. Okay, that's fine. You don't have to, I think you pretty much said it there. I scored it exactly the same as you in the same categories. I gave it 1 for the hook as well. Is this I mean, it's another great song, as you said. Again, being attracted to lyrics, not everybody gets to go to space could be a metaphor for society. Not everybody gets to be rich. Not everybody gets to, go on holiday. It's kind of there are bigger metaphors there, I'm sure potentially that's what they meant when they were writing the song. But I love the intro as well with the sort of the electronic sort of space sounds. I think that's really clever. Talking about it in a whimsical sense, there's going to be lots of lines and cues. I mean, we're British, we're good at cues, aren't we, really? Think about it. We're great at queuing. It's a national pastime. Um, so just that sort of that almost comedic take on what if we did go to space? There'll be cues, you know. Would it feel like, you know, we're getting a win by going to space? But it's okay, you know. And also, who's going to build the ships to take us to space? So there's a lot of questions there, and I like that
Elon
comedic
Musk.
element. Yeah, Elon's gonna take us,
Yeah.
or somebody else. And who's
Richard
gonna bring us
Branson.
back? Yeah, this is true. He could do
Who
it, couldn't he?
we might not want to come back.
Yes,
Do
we
you know,
might
like
have a better life out there.
when you go on holiday and you don't want to
Mm.
come back?
Hmm.
Who knows? We could just keep
Yeah,
going.
yeah. But they ask these questions and they ask them in such a way that it really just works. It's great,
Hmm.
yeah, I think it's a great song. It's a 9 from me. Uh, yeah, I'll shut up now.
Well, I think it's a great evaluation of another sterling song.
Yeah.
So on to track 8, which is called R&B.
Got a taste of what it feels like to be close enough. And I hope I can get my mind right so I can keep it up. I've been writing R&B for you.
So that was track 8 called R&B. Um, this is another favorite of mine. I think potentially this was a single, or they put it out around the time that they did the world's biggest paving slab. I don't know. It might have been, it might not have been, but I've given it a 10. I think it's a great song. It was on my Spotify playlist last year, and I could not stop singing it. It's so catchy, and once it gets in your head, you can't get rid of it. You end up like walking in the house after work and you're singing it, and it's they did, funnily enough, in terms of the lyrics, you will know that it mentions there's a part of it that's about Lily Fontaine's being mixed race and struggling with the fact that she's in an indie band as opposed to R&B, which is where the story around the song comes from.
Hmm.
And she's put, even though she's seen more colour shows than KEXP's, they did a session on KEXP in January 2025. Um, and when she sang that line, there's a lady, one of the DJs, I can't remember her name. She's one of the famous ones from KXP. And she sort of was like, yeah, we're on KXP and I'm singing it and we've written lyrics about it. And it was just kind of a cool thing. So if you look it up on YouTube, if you look up English teacher and KXP, watch that session because it's brilliant. And obviously
It
you get to
is.
see them as well. So I highly recommend it. We will link it when we put it on the socials. But it's just a banging song. So it's
Hmm.
over to you, John.
Yeah, brilliant. I've scored it a 9.
Mm.
I think I scored it a 1 for the lyrics, but for a 2 for
Hmm.
everything else. I think it's a
Hmm.
great sound. For the first time it sort of touches on that sort of early 90s grunge. It sounds a little bit grungy at the
Mm.
start. It's got that sort of,
Yeah.
you know, maybe Rage Against the Machine sort of bass intro, and then it goes all grungy in it, and it's really catchy and some
It
quite
is.
brooding lyrics and
Mm.
punchy as hell. So
Mm.
yeah, it was a standout one for me when we saw them last week. This track when we saw
Mhm.
it, and yeah, I think it's a really good track with, like you said, there's more meaning to it than just
Mhm.
than what it says. So yeah, 9 out of 10 for me.
Excellent.
Okay, moving on to track 9, which is called Nearly Daffodils.
Mostly it feels like a waste. So much laughter uncanned. I've forgotten the taste that made me go back. All the plans were tiptoed around in quiet hours, daffodil buds. There is a reason the first.
Okay, so that was track 9, Nearly Daffodils, which a little bit of a side note, but daffodils are my favorite flower. So
Are
it's
they?
already, yeah, I love daffodils and my mum's favorite flower as well.
Uh,
Coming second is tulips. So there you go. Yeah, so it's already winning with the title of the song. So so I've scored this a 10 because this was another one that was on my playlist on repeat when
mm,
I first heard of them. Um it's again a song that shifts tonally to sort of very sort of hard, lots of frantic piano playing, lots of guitars, and then it can shift almost immediately to this sort of very subtle tone, which I think works really well on this song. And for me, Nearly Daffodils just kind of, if I'm looking into it for a deeper meaning, it's, what have we got that's on sort of realized potential? And that's kind of what I equate it to in the wider meaning, if we're looking at metaphors and such. I like a good a good lyric and a good metaphor. That's what I relate it to. But also it's just a cracking song,
mm.
It's got a brilliant hook. There's lots going on. They're very talented. I'm going to shut up now and ask you what you think.
Well, I'm not gonna. I haven't got the same. I haven't got the same sort of wordings for it as you have because you look a lot deeper into songs than I do. But I agree with you. I've scored it a 10. I think
Mm,
it's a really simple yet standout track on the album.
yeah.
Yeah, I love that intro. It sounds almost space age. Do do do
Mm,
do 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 do.
yeah. Yeah.
It sounds like the intro to an old 60s science fiction film. I don't
Oh, yeah.
I've
Yeah. A
heard
bit
it.
like, yeah.
I feel like I've heard it somewhere before, but it's got that, yeah, and it's just like gives
Yeah.
it
It's
that sort of,
familiar.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just it gives
Mm,
it a sort of
I get that. Yeah.
space age feel to it, which I really like. It's a
Mm.
different texture to some of the other tracks, and it's one of those albums that just keeps throwing up little nuggets of surprises and little
Yeah.
little mooge booges throughout each song, and
That's
yeah, I
great though,
think
isn't
it,
it? You don't
yeah.
often get that with
Mm.
albums. You're not you getting surprised when you're listening to something and thinking, "Oh, I didn't expect it to go there. I thought it'd just be more of the same." It's
Yeah,
brilliant. I love it.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
we're kind of, we're in the business end of the album now.
Mm,
And it's testament that it's a new album by a new band, modern takes on, tried and tested genres, but it's still
mm.
throwing up interesting little curveballs to keep us entertained and to keep us interested.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what's making it such a strong album. So
Hmm.
yeah, fantastic. So yeah, 10 out of 10 for both of us.
Cool.
Okay, so we're on to track 10 now, which is called The Best Tears of Your Life.
I reprimand the city. Can you taste that? Can you smell the ocean? Is it sweeter than your chlorine tank? You can take the girl out of her comfort zone, but you can't put her back.
Okay, that was track 10, The Best Tears of Your Life. Um, yeah, really, again, some subtle sounds, some, real sort of mellow, atmospheric vibes going on underneath that. But it's got some really sort of modern progressive production styles. I'm not a big fan of that effect over her voice in the chorus.
Auto
Rema
tune.
yeah, reminds me of
Yeah.
that god awful Cher song from a few years back. But so
I
yeah,
believe
kind
in
of
love or something. Yeah.
something like that. But it really does,
Yeah.
it's still a really beautifully crafted song. But that just that little bit of production in the chorus just sort of detracts from it for me. And it
Mm.
just it just wasn't needed. She's got a great voice. She delivers a song so soulfully and so simply. They don't need to stick um, effects like that on her voice. Who am I to say? This is a Mercury Award winning album, so ultimately, what do they care what I think? And they know better than I do. But yeah, just little things like that, just sort of take the shine off what should be a fantastic song. So I've scored it an 8. One
hmm
for wow and intro, but maxed out on the others. But yeah, it's still a really well crafted song. Um, Again, full of subtlety and little pockets of genius. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for me for that one.
hmm I've scored it exactly the same in exactly the same categories. I'm not a massive fan of auto tune or effects on voices, and you hit the nail right on the head. That song would have worked just as well if they'd have left the auto tune at the door and not let
Yeah.
it in. Because
Mm,
she has a stunning voice and she can transform her voice. Even when she's talking,
yeah.
it sounds beautiful. So I just remember thinking when we were sat there at the gig about a week and a half ago, I was just thinking you don't need the auto tune. I kept seeing her switching it on and then switching it off for other parts of the song, and I was just like, you don't need it because
Mm,
this song is beautiful as it is. So I scored it down on the wow for that because it doesn't, it would have been wow if she hadn't had the auto tune, to be honest.
yeah.
But it again, it's an 8. It's still a great song. The best tears of your life. Again, I love they've got some cracking song titles,
Mm,
just wonderful. I think it's wonderful. So it's an 8 from me.
excellent.
hmm
Okay, so we shall motor on to track 11, which is called You Blister My Paint.
Doesn't like the sun. I run in the rain, but leave me for days, and I'll go inside. You blister my pain. You blister my pain. You blister my pain.
That was track 11 and You Blister My Paint. Um, wow, that really affected me this time I listened to it. I don't know. It's a very haunting, melancholy song, I think, about a deeper pain, references to things like blistering your paint. I find fascinating that just lyrically, I think it's wonderful, but it's just musically as well. I mean, it really gets you. Um, I just think, I mean, there's a lot of changing of vocal style, and I think there are some enhancements to her vocals. There's a lot of echoiness. I don't know the technical terms for these things, but and unlike the previous song, which had heavily used auto tune, I actually didn't mind it on this song as much because I think it all links into sort of this haunting vibe that's going on with the piano, etc. So because of that, um, and because it just almost gave me goosebumps, I gave it a 9. I think it's a beautiful song. And it's a very, it just shows how well they can do really fast-paced guitar-led songs and then pull out the bag something like this. It just shows their quality really. So I gave it a 9. I gave it a 1 for the intro, but 2's for everything else. So over to you.
Um, yeah, I got a couple of things to say about this.
hmm
I've got I've got lots of influences, lots of favorite sort of musicians and styles and what have you, but I don't think you can, when it comes to music, I don't think you can beat a strong female vocal with a piano,
Mm,
a little bit of orchestra thrown in for good measure.
yeah.
Um, I know Adele made it very trendy, but she did it really. In fairness to her, in when you're talking contemporary music, she's done it really well. But people like Joni Mitchell and Carole King. We were listening to a bit of Etta James last night, and
Yeah.
it's just simplicity of a beautiful female vocal with
Mm,
simple background music. Um, it's just stunning. And
mm,
listening to the end in there, the piano bit, it reminded me, it put me in mind of, is it the greatest gig in the sky by Pink Floyd on the Dark Side of the Moon album?
mhm,
Um, and I think the biggest compliment I can give that song is that it wouldn't be out of place on that album, on Dark
mhm.
Side of the Moon by Floyd.
Wow.
Which, it's everyone knows that album. Most people own a copy of it, and
Mm,
it's rightly discussed as one of the best albums ever made, and I genuinely think that song would not be out of place on it. And I know there's
yeah.
probably some people out there screaming at me
Mm.
for saying such a ludicrous comment, but I
Oh yeah.
genuinely think it is genius. I don't want
Mm,
to use the word mature anymore because I keep doing it regarding this band, but
mm,
they have absolutely no right to be producing music this good at such a young age on a debut album. It's so refreshing to see that,
mm,
this is what potentially this country has got to offer the music industry.
mm,
Um, we've always been great at our British music. And whilst we've lost a lot of what makes us great in this country, our music is still going toe to toe with anything the rest of the world can offer.
mhm,
And these guys are at the front of that, you know, at the front of that line. They really are that good, and
mm,
that's a 10 out of 10 for me every day of the week.
yeah.
Every day of the week, that track, ten
Mhm,
out of ten. Um, just just marvelous,
mm,
absolutely marvelous, and
yeah.
I can't wait to see them again. I can't wait to listen to some new material of theirs.
Mm,
So yeah, wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Okay, so we're nearly there. We're going on
mhm.
to track 12, which has got a great title. Who doesn't like a bit of side boob? Hey, that was track 12. Nice bit of side boob. What a song title.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
I'm sure there's a reason for it, but anyway, I'm gonna come from it from a musical point of view.
Mhm,
Yeah, just a really nice sort of subtle, again, mellow, you know, um, finish. Oh, we're not finished yet, but
mhm.
penultimate finish to the album. Really chilled, you know. Um, Puts me in mind of a little bit of I Am Clute. It's got that
Yeah,
sort of
it's fair.
almost that bit of jazz going on in it, and just
Mm, mhm,
really comfortable listen, and yeah, just a nice subtle ending to the album we're hearing so far. And I scored it
mm,
a 9. Um, Scored it a 1 for the hook,
mhm.
but yeah, a very good effort. Yeah, 9 out of
Yeah.
10 for me.
Okay. So I scored it exactly the same as you. I've given it a 9. And The reason I love this is A, it's got a really cheeky little title, which I like. That's the first thing. The second thing is if you look at the lyrics and I did a little bit of research into it, and it's actually sort of an ode, a eulogy to Pendle Hill, I believe, which is sort of in between Skipton and sort of Blackburn way, I think. I got the map up before just to have a look and see where it was. But that apparently is, yeah, Pendle Hill. It's, yeah, sort of in between, bang in the middle of Blackburn and Skipton. And
Okay.
that is apparently it's in Lancashire, up north. Yeah, so it's just sort of an ode to the rolling landscape and the beauty of nature. And you know I love nature, so that's already a winner. And I just think it's a beautiful ode to that, and the fact that they've included, something like that and given it a really crazy name. Uh, so I think it's a nine from me. I think it's a great penultimate
Mm.
chat. Um, yeah, love it.
Excellent. Excellent.
Hmm.
Okay, well, here we are going into the final track. Track
Mm.
13 of the album This Could Be Texas by the amazingly talented English teacher. And this is Albert Road.
3 rock short of a dry stone wall.
So that was the final track on the album, and it's called Albert Road, track number 13. So I'm going to kick this off, and and I'm going to use a phrase that I've used before. So I think it's a great bookend to the end. I think Albatross is a great starting track. I think Albert Road, just kind of because of the way that it builds as well over the song, I just think it's a wonderful ending track to that album. It's also got some really, really great lyrics about chips, gravy, and cheese, although the cheese part I'm not a fan of, but apparently people down in the south like chips and cheese. But when you're from up north, it's chips and gravy. And just the sort of the honest lyrics. She talks about, go and find something to do, my mum says, and she says, no, there's naught to do. And it just feels very northern. And
Mhm.
that makes me think of home and the way that my mum was with me, and just the way that it sort of builds and builds and builds to this massive sort of crescendo. Is that the word I'm looking for? I don't
Mhm.
know. At the end, and I just think it's cracking into what is an excellent album. So it's a 10 from me. What about you?
Yeah. Um, Personally, I think they've saved their best till last.
Mm, yeah.
I think it's the best track on the album amongst some other brilliant
Mm,
tracks. It's just it takes I don't know, it's like they've taken all the really good bits of each song from the
mm,
album thus far and then just kind of thrown them all into this one final track, and it takes bits from
mm.
that song, bits from that song, bits from that, and it's a great sort of anthemic building
Yes.
up song. It's the production on it is wonderful.
Mm,
Yeah, and it just blends everything together, everything they've learned over the previous 12 tracks, and just
mm.
come up with what I think is nigh on perfection. It really is a sublime finish to what
Yeah.
is, you know, one of the best albums I have heard in the last 25 years. It's really is that great. I
Hmm.
cannot wax lyrical enough about this album. If you haven't
Mm.
heard of English Teacher, please check them out
Please check them
because
out.
they are going to be the next big thing.
Hmm.
Forget your Coldplays, forget your Fontaines DCs,
Hmm.
forget any of those bands. I'm not saying they're rubbish, but forget
Mm.
what you know about how good modern British music can be, because these guys have raised the bar and some. They
Mm,
are that good.
yeah.
So impressed. So impressed with them.
I'm so glad
Um,
you love them as much as I do.
no, I just, you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
there isn't really much more I can say about
no, we're
how good
just
they
yeah.
are.
Give it a listen. There's other stuff out there as well. They had an EP prior to this album. I don't know how many songs are on it, but generally it's probably about 4 or 5, isn't it, for an EP? I think it was called, I could be wrong, Polyamorous. I've listened to that a little bit lately. Keeps going on my DJ on Spotify, but I would recommend giving that a listen because that's sort of early English teacher, but you can see in those songs the progression to this album. So it, go and Spotify or however you stream your music, or go and hunt down an EP if you're a record collector.
Yeah,
We need to find that actually because we haven't got that.
yeah,
So yeah, so what an album. That was really
mhm,
great. I love that. I just
yeah.
yeah. So do you shall I do the scores?
Okay, so looking at mine, I make
Go on.
it a 9.08.
Oh, well done. You are right because you've got the rounding right now. So you are a 9.08. I am a 9.23. So we're not far off one
Ooh,
another, just a
no, we're
smidge
not.
more. It's a smidge more from me. So that gives us a combined score for the album by English teacher. This could be Texas of 9.15.
Good score.
9.15, which I think you'll agree is a rather
Mm,
cracking score. And looks as though I'm just looking at the historic scores from our previous podcasts because
hmm
I have ordered them on the spreadsheet, obviously. That
Obviously.
takes it to number 2 in your list.
Yep.
Um, I believe. Let me just double check what mine is. Bear with me. Got to go back on the spreadsheet. Just let me check. So 9.01. Yeah, so 923. So, yeah, on yours it's number 2. On mine it's number 2. So we've both got a new number 2,
And
basically.
I don't feel bad about scoring that album higher than scoring the Bends.
Yes, because you scored the Benz 8.92 and I scored the
I
Benz 9.08.
and I don't feel bad about it. It's that good.
Mm,
So,
yeah. No,
yeah.
I don't either. I don't. I really enjoyed that. And actually, I never really tire of listening to that album because I listen to it
No.
quite a lot in the car.
Mm.
So, yeah, that's good. So, yeah.
Excellent. Well, there we go.
Mm.
That's episode 8 in the can, as they say. Um, have a great weekend, everyone, whatever it is you're doing. We have got a completely free weekend.
Yay.
So we're going to get our heads together and decide what we're going to do over the weekend.
Yeah.
Um, so, yeah, thank you, everyone, for listening. I
Yeah.
hope you've enjoyed the album as much as we have.
Let us know in the comments on socials.
Yeah, please
Mm.
do. Let's get some interaction going.
Especially if you've not listened to it before, I'd like to know what you
Hmm,
think.
please, yeah. Okay then, folks. Yeah, have a great weekend. Have a great week. We'll hopefully see you very soon
Mm-hmm.
with another edition of the Vinyl Union. But
Yeah.
until then, guten Tag, auf Wiedersehen.
Night night.